Now, Sergeant York, believe me, Sergeant York is quite an extraordinary film. I guarantee that some clergymen who might be watching us right now will find it very stimulating to think of comments that could arise in church tomorrow, because it has things that I think are relevant to everyone who thinks about his path in life and the choices he has to make, and is imbued with the feeling of wanting to do right. This book by Sam Cowan is very old. It was republished when the film came out in the early 40s. And the introduction reads something like this: Sergeant Alvin C. York, from a cabin back in the mountains of Tennessee, 48 miles from the railroad, a young man went to the World War. He was untutored in the ways of the world. Months pass, there he is in Europe, World War I, and then comes a great moment in his life. Marshal Foch, in decorating him, said, "What you did was the greatest thing accomplished by any private soldier of all the armies of Europe." His ancestors were simple people, they were primitive people. In fact, the film is redolent of American primitivism in its early scenes. It's very beautiful to look at. And Sam Cowan says this is not a war story, but the tale of the making of a man. His ancestors were able to leave him but one legacy, an idea of American manhood. In the period that elapsed since he came down from the mountains, he did three things, and any one of them would have marked him for distinction. Sergeant York is quite a character, and I think you will love that character. And he's beautifully unfolded to us, with music by Max Steiner and photography by Sol Polito, and for the war sequences, Arthur Edison. It's top movie making under the direction of Howard Hawks. Howard Hawks had to get clearances. It was a very personal thing with him. He had to get clearances from so many people, at least 20, to use real names in the film. And in choosing Gary Cooper, he chose a man who had many qualities in common with Alvin York. As a matter of fact, Alvin York approved of Gary Cooper playing him on the screen. And Gary Cooper ended up winning an Academy Award. I think he deserved it. You watch him and listen. And here's a cover of Photo Player in the 1940s in the war years. I love those old photo players. And here is Gary Cooper with Joan Leslie. She says to him in one scene, I love the remark, she's angry with him and she says, "I wouldn't have you on a Christmas tree, Alvin York." She and Gary Cooper are very good together, and yet she's right there at the start of the main part of her movie career, coming into her own as a female star of Warner Brothers. Now, the cast is quite magnificent, and I think you'll find Gary Cooper, with some of the people with whom he's involved in this story, rises to great heights. Take a look at this next picture and you'll see someone very special indeed. Margaret Wycherley, a wonderful character actress. She plays Alvin's mother. She has very little dialogue, and what we know and learn about her is so much in actions and suggestions, expressions, a smile perhaps. Oh, it's a wonderful performance. It's a wonder she didn't win a Supporting Actress Academy Award. A great mentor for Alvin York, played beautifully by Walter Brennan. I said earlier there's a wonderful look to these early rural mountain scenes of Sergeant York. It's very special, the creation of a whole world there at Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank. It transports you with the beauty of its photography and the Max Steiner score and, of course, the people. Now, among the others in the cast, we have George Tobias one side, and here's a man with a face you wonder who he is all the time, do you? Joe Sawyer. Nearly always played terrible people on the screen, but in this film, he's all right. And in this shot from Sergeant York, some interesting folk. June Lockhart, the daughter of actor Gene Lockhart and actress Kathleen Lockhart. June Lockhart, of course, from Lost in Space. And there also is Dickie Moore. Dickie Moore has a beautiful relationship going, I believe, with Jane Powell. He loves her and she loves him these days. Dickie Moore, quite old now, of course, like so many of us are. Very interesting performance from him as well. And now, someone else of interest. If you look very closely in Sergeant York, you will see one of the earliest film appearances of Gig Young, who was known those days by Byron Barr. Do you know how Gig Young acquired the name Gig Young? I'll tell you at the end of this wonderful film that I believe transports us not only into another world, but almost into a man's mind. What a superb film. I hope you've enjoyed Sergeant York tonight. That, together with our first film, Buffalo Bill, makes quite an evening, isn't it? I showed you, well, previews in posters and a little bit of footage, some exciting coming attractions. Let's just concentrate on two things. First, the movies at lunchtime. I hope you'll tune in on some of those if you can, because each film is chosen for a reason, and each one has a reason for being. And secondly, next Saturday night, grand adventure for all of us. I can hardly wait. Next Saturday night, Tyrone Power and Maureen O'Hara in The Black Swan, one of the greatest of all the pirate movies, and look at a great supporting cast. And The Black Swan will be followed next week by Errol Flynn and Ronald Reagan in Desperate Journey. Fabulous adventure. I know you'll like it. And that's your program next Saturday night, beginning at 8:30. Good night, everyone.